48 Fastcast.
All right, welcome in. 7:01 is your time. Thanks for joining us for 48 Fastcast.
Yeah, it's definitely been a pretty easy commute, I think, coming in this morning, but definitely looking at tomorrow, potentially some weather affecting that.
Yeah, I think today, okay, maybe a few storms later this afternoon. We'll keep an eye on the radar for a couple more days, today and tomorrow, before we can finally turn our attention to heat and humidity instead of rainfall. Right now in Decatur, trying to get a little glow there on the horizon. It's 74 degrees and very humid. I do think any clouds we have this morning will start to clear out. We will pop some sunshine, and that will allow the temperatures to go from low to mid 70s all the way to the mid 80s this afternoon, maybe even a few upper 80s. And that's what we need, just a little daytime heating to fire up a few storms, and that will take place between 3 and 6. Most areas will stay dry, but if you have a storm, it's going to pour. Cats and dogs, meow, meow, woof, woof kind of rainfall. And then it's out of here. And then another surge of rain comes back later tonight. This is the round that's going to impact your Thursday morning commute with some heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. We'll take a look at your forecast not only for Thursday, but what you can expect for Friday and the weekend coming up in just a few moments.
This is your 48 First Alert Road Report, sponsored by Bankston Motorhomes.
All right, taking you straight to our maps here, where we do have a wreck in the Gunnersville area. So this is on Highway 79, right at Lou James Lane here. So just be aware of that if you are traveling in this area. It's affecting both directions there. It does say a lane is blocked. And we also have a crash here on I-65 at Huntsville-Browns Ferry Road. Seems to be affecting Huntsville-Browns Ferry a little bit in both directions there as well. Drive times right now, Decatur to Huntsville about 23 minutes, Athens to Huntsville about 27. Jonathan.
All right, thanks, Gina. A Decatur man has been charged by federal authorities accused of smuggling goods and laundering money. He's also accused of violating U.S. sanctions related to Venezuela. Now, authorities say Thomas Fortenberry conspired with another man to sell chemicals and industrial equipment to steel mills and chemical companies owned by people from Venezuela. Now, there are current U.S. sanctions on many of these Venezuelan industries. The Department of Justice alleges that the two men used foreign bank accounts to move money from these sales into and out of the United States. Prosecutors believe this was done to hide the fact that the chemicals and equipment being sold were subject to U.S. sanctions. Fortenberry faces decades in prison if convicted.
Well, we're expecting to learn in the next 2 days whether a Huntsville man accused of murdering his infant daughter will be granted bond. Victavius Dennis is accused of killing his 4-month-old child, Kyla Jean. The infant died on June 11th after spending 3 days in the hospital. Yesterday, a Huntsville police investigator testified that Dennis told authorities he was giving his daughter a bath when she slipped out of his hands and hit her head. Now, that investigator also testified Dennis admitted to putting the baby to bed, thinking she was okay. Doctors told police the baby had broken ribs and a broken collarbone, and prosecutors believe Dennis had abused the baby long before she died. The state is asking he be held without bond.
New this morning, Priceville police are releasing more information after they discovered that an engine in a vehicle had been swapped out. Police made that discovery after pulling over Boris Todd on I-65 Sunday afternoon. Authorities claim that the car Todd was driving had an engine from a Dodge Challenger Hellcat. The Hellcat was stolen out of Tennessee. Now police believe he stole the transmission, instrument panel, steering column, and sound system from a different Dodge vehicle in Georgia.
Also new this morning, Lauderdale County authorities have arrested a woman they believe charged more than $60,000 to a credit card that did not belong to her. Amber McCrary is charged with theft and fraudulent use of a credit card. Court records obtained by her media partners at the Times Daily reveal that she's accused of charging that money to a Lowe's credit card that belonged to a rental company. Prosecutors believe this happened over a month's time period back in 2023. McCrary was arrested on Friday and booked into jail the same day she pleaded guilty to a drug charge in a different case out of Colbert County. She's also facing drug charges in another case out of Lauderdale County.
In Franklin County, one man is charged with trying to set a house on fire. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office tells us Dallas Terry was arrested on Sunday after pouring gasoline around a house and trying to light it. He's charged with arson and 5 counts of reckless endangerment.
Well, still to come, UAH is pushing to get more grad students into the university. How they're doing this ahead. The University of Alabama in Huntsville is working to bring more graduate and master's students to the school.
Yeah, that's why they've launched their Charger Edge program, and students who are eligible under this program can qualify for a 25% discount on their tuition. Now, the whole goal of the program is to encourage more master's and graduate students to study in Huntsville so that they can end up giving back to the community. Now, there are some limitations. Graduate or master's students must be in-state students or from select counties in southern Tennessee. They also have to maintain a 3.0 GPA. Vice Provost of Enrollment, Dr. Michael Pohl, says that the program should benefit students and the university.
We know there's a lot of people out there that are a little uncertain economically, career-wise, and we want to provide access to more students to get a higher degree. Maybe they're looking at changing careers, maybe they're looking at moving up in their current career. But we believe it's our mission to continue to try to make this as affordable as possible.
Now, he also says the university has already seen a noticeable influx of graduate applications since the program was launched last week. Jeff?
Now, your 48 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist Jeff Denoyer.
Thanks, Jonathan. Tracking a mix of sun and clouds throughout the morning into the afternoon. Temperatures mid-80s today. If you're going to have a storm, it will be between 3 and 6. Real isolated stuff today, though. It's kind of a break. I mean, we've had numerous rounds of storms the last 7 days. This will be very isolated. But a higher chance of rain comes back tonight, especially Thursday morning. That's when we got the gusty winds and heavy rain. That's a morning commute impact. And then drying out for Friday and Saturday, and the temperatures really obviously taking off. You got mid-90s on Saturday. Feel like temperatures close to 100. This will be the first true taste of heat and humidity we've had so far this month, and it comes fittingly for the first weekend of summer, which would make sense. Temperatures on Sunday, 95 for the high. We got like a 10% in there. It's just to kind of cover your butt for an isolated thunderstorm. But most areas will stay dry, and it will stay mainly dry early next week besides a few storms on Monday. But the temperatures will stay hot, and it will be humid with highs in the low to mid-90s. If you're a big fan of summer, you love that 10-day forecast.
A lot of 90s on there. It's been a while since we've seen that. So
Yeah, for sure.
stay cool.
Try to stay as cool as possible. Hydrate this weekend, definitely, for sure. All right, thank you so much for joining us for the Fastcast. We'll see you later today.